On. What's going on, everybody? It's Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord, here with Mike Zuber from One Rental at a Time, here for our fantastic Fridays. It's been a dynamic and explosive two first episodes, but we saved a pretty good topic for last, which is, let's just talk about it. We hate fear porn. We hate the crisis videos, but what do you see? You're the economist. What do you see starting to unfold with the fact that these Washington bureaus can't actually do math and figure out what actual inflation is?
Yeah, so I actually spent some time the last day or so trying to create my worst case scenario. Because if you follow me for any length of time, or you were on my teams when I was in software, we actually did this pretty regularly. We always did the worst case scenario, because if you can do the worst case scenario, mediate the risk, the upside will take care of itself. So again, the worst case scenario is not likely. It is not a prediction, but it's like, if everything goes bad, this is where we could be. So when I think about, again, the worst case scenario, as unlikely as it is, this is kind of how it starts. First and foremost, next week, the Fed is weak. By week, he does 0 or a quarter. Anything less than 50 basis points fits this week. The events going on in Europe get worse, right? Again, this is worst case scenario stuff. And other countries get involved somehow, some way. It happens. This becomes bigger. Supply chains for everything get worse. And unfortunately, as bad as oil is and gas is, the one that I'm most afraid of is food. Food has a lag time. Food has a season. And if you miss a season, really bad things happen. And we just saw yesterday, there was a fertilizer company who's reducing output because natural gas is so much higher. And if you don't realize how important fertilizer is, you're not paying attention. So again, while we've seen 60 cents of gas hike in 3 days in my area, food not only could go up in price, but could become scarce in many parts of the world. Again, I'm painting a worst case scenario. It's not a call. It's not likely. At which point, inflation, where the CPI today is 11.2, goes up to the 80s, where it was 18, 19, or 20. Again, worst case scenario. At which point, Jerome Powell resigns or gets fired. I don't care which one you want to call it. Happening in the next 12 months or less. Again, worst case scenario. And they find Paul Volcker 2.0. Paul Volcker is looking at this going, I need to do what the first one did. I need to raise rates 800 basis points in a 6-month period. I'll take a pause to see what's going on, because we will have massive demand reduction. At which point he did it more, because this was a 2-year journey we were on, where the Fed funds rate could end up in the teens. Think about that. At which point unemployment is bad, right? We go from stagflation to all out recession. Unemployment goes from 3.8, which was the last U3 print, to 10%. The 30-year mortgage is now over whatever it is, 15, 16, 17%. Transactions are cut in half, or 75 or 80%. The only thing getting done now is cash transactions. Builders basically stop. They only do build for rent. And we finally baked the back of inflation, but now it's 2024. We're in a horrible recession that's probably 12, 15, 18 months in duration. And it's a worldwide recession, not a US recession, worldwide, global. And a lot of people have had pain. A lot of, you finally have your Lamborghini. That's a good thing, because somebody had to sell it at half off.
Exactly.
So again, a lot of opportunity will be had, but it's going to be really bad for a lot of people. And there's not a lot of people that have been through a recession before that will take opportunities. It's what Warren Buffett says all the time. It's why he has so much cash. Jamie Dimon will be cranking. A lot of these tech stocks that don't make any money will go bust, like Rivian and all these other EV companies. They will cease to exist. It will be bad, but sometimes you got to take your medicine. And some would argue we haven't taken our medicine yet, so you pay for it with interest. And again, that's a pretty horrible environment. We will get through it. bad times don't last, good times don't last. There will be plenty of opportunity to make money. I'm sure Olivia and I will do just fine. But again, there'll be a lot of people that are left worse off. So I guess that's my worst case scenario.
Well, that's awesome.
I'm gonna go crawl up in a ball and
Exactly.
cry.
Yeah. I'm gonna go list all my properties.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think it's important to have that conversation. You know, for those people that watch us, we're not interested in fear porn. We're not interested in these massive crisis videos, but I think it is important to understand what has historically occurred and what could potentially historically occur again. By no means are we saying all of these things will happen. By no means are we saying really any of these things will happen.
No, it's I mean,
It's
each
just
of those
something to consider. Something to consider with every move that you're taking. You consider the left side and the right side. Consider them both.
Yeah, totally
So,
agree.
nope, I think very well done, very well stated. So, Mike, where can everybody find you, sir?
One rental at a time. And if you'd like to see live or you want to ask me questions about this, you can come tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific. We're now getting over 100 people that tune in during the live session, that's pretty cool. I didn't know we'd ever get there, but thank you to each and all. 8 a.m. Saturday morning.
It is. It's a good time and great time to hear, not just get your questions answered, but get other people's questions answered as well. So really cool, really important stuff. Mike, thanks so much for the time. We'll see you next week, my friend. Have a great continued weekend.
You got it. Every day Saturday.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye.